SummerSong is fast approaching and it's heading our way next week. So let's have a look at what we can expect inside of SummerSong this year. So first of all, I want to go into what rare Wublin we can expect this time around. These rare Wublins have been happening monthly and we've been getting one every single time at the start of every month. But which one is it going to be this time? Well, in order to figure that out, let's head on over to Monster Handler Matt to get a few details here.
Rare Blipsqueak, this mechanized being coming out during the month of Mech. I wonder if future rare Wublins will have some loose thematic connection with the month that they are releasing.
So Matt's just explained there that each rare Wublin is going to tie to that constellation of the month, the Celestials constellations. And for July, which is this month's constellation, which one is it tied to? It's tied to the supernatural element, or rather Galvana. And if we're looking at all of the Wublins and which one the supernatural element would therefore resemble, we've got to think about electricity with these guys, and therefore Pixelotl and Astropod are the ones that come to mind. And if you're to ask me, out of these two, which one it would most likely be, I'd absolutely say Astropod. This boy, it has electricity literally coursing through its antlers, so I absolutely do think it's going to be that. And if you want further confirmation, just heading over to Astropod's bio. It literally says electricity that courses through the Wublin. I don't know what more proof you need, but that's all the proof in the pudding right there, guys. So for rare Astropod, what is it going to look like? Well, luckily for us, we actually have a full-on preview at this rare Wublin's design. In a recent video that was being put out, whereby someone tried to design a monster which has been advertised in-game, you can see in the background here, we have different rare Astropod designs that are being concepted here. Now, the shell at the back of Astropod, it's been called a shell always. However, it seemingly resembled a feather all these years. And finally, we are seeing this shell come to life here. And they seem to have really drawn into the aspect with an oyster-looking one towards the right there, and barnacles at the back, and also a huge nail-like shell at the top here. Lots of different shell-like designs and bubbles, perhaps, and speckles on this monster, really resembling the water element here, you can see, guys. And it makes me wonder behind this how it's going to illuminate with its colors on its shell, because the shell colors on Astropod, its original form, you really can't see them that clearly, but these shells, they each look so big and dynamic, look like the standout beach behind this, so we could potentially get a much more interesting animation behind the colors of this one, as you really can't see it on Astropod, and it would be amazing to finally get a bit more of that and see what is going on this monster, as we do want to see what is happening here, guys. And also, I've just got to say, if we do go with the right one, there is a lot of eyes there, and my word, is that creepy. It's supposed to be an amalgam, but I'm not sure if we want to go that far. Okay. I'm in love with the bottom design. That's my favourite so far. But we'll see which one they choose. To decide on what's coming next too, though, besides the rare Wublin, we need to head on over to Matt once more. Final time inside of this, so let's hop on over there once more again.
Rare Clavivera came out earlier this month, was discovered for the first time, and that was almost exactly 6 months out. I wonder if there's some pattern emerging here.
Matt has explained there that each rare Orc seasonal is going to arrive 6 months after the seasonal event, and guess what? It's also been 6 months since Crescendo Moon. So seeing as though Crescendo Moon was 6 months before, we're going to get rare Carillong very soon. And for rare Carillong, Crescendo Moon is supposed to resemble New Year's, leap years, and a general celebration of the upcoming year. However, with Carillong, to me, it's always seemingly represented New Year's a lot more over the leap years aspect. So therefore, I think to tie into that, let's go deep into that leap years aspect. Leap year is always associated with oranges, particularly yellows, whites, those kinds of colors, and therefore I think getting that would be really cool. And honestly, it kind of reminds me of the leap year dragon from Dragon Veil. I used to play that game all the time as a kid, and I recently got my account back and have been playing. So I'm quite excited to draw that reference up. Anyway, I do think exaggerated ribbons on this monster would be really cool, like you see on the Chinese parade dragons that they use. You see ribbons all over them, putting some on Carillong, make them exaggerated, and bringing out those hair tufts out on Carillong a bit more would be cool, to tie to them floats that you see too, to resemble Chinese New Year's dragons. And we gotta have a newly shaped staff with this thing. Galvana's staff, it's always iconic to me, but Carillong, I don't feel like it's as iconic as Galvana's, so let's get it up there, I say, with this one. And for what could be on the top of this staff and potentially make it unique, let's head on over to Lyco's design here. Lyco has made a very more punk-themed Carillong design, tying into that a lot more. Rings on this guy, you got an earpiece here, some more hair tufts, loving that. But mainly here, what we're looking at is obviously the new staff that they're holding here. They've tied into Chinese New Year lanterns at the very top here, and I think that is ingenious. I want to see it. Something like that, just to make its staff really unique, but hopefully of more dynamic shape, as I feel like Carillong's staff is its main signature piece, and changing that up a lot is gonna make this one a bop. So let's change it from being just a straight design here. Let's make it crooked or something. And we have rare seasonals. We have a rare Wublin, but what we don't have as well is a rare fire or epic fire, as vessels are running out on Amber Island, and as you guys know, when them vessels run out, it means it's rare or epic fire time. So next week, we're going to be seeing a fire elemental rare or epic. Now, is it going to be a rare or epic, though? That is the question. Last time we got rare Chihuahua, so is it going to be a rare fire again, or is it going to be an epic? Well, we have 9 mainstream epic fires left. Obviously, the epics that are on Amber Island exclusively, like Flummox, where you don't see anywhere else, we're not counting those yet, as those rares are still coming out. We have 9 left there, which isn't really too much to go on here, as we have a similar amount of rare fires left as we do epics. So honestly, they could go either direction. If I were to pull any out of the bag, I think they are going to go with the rare. I mean, we've got rare seasonals, a rare Wublin. Maybe that's too much rare goodness, but I think we're going to go with a rare again. And if it is a rare, I think we are going to be getting rare Candelabra. Particularly, I really want to see rare Candelabra inside of SummerSong, as it feels like this would be a good time to put them in the spotlight. Usually we have lots of content coming out, and the rares don't really get a chance to spotlight specifically on themselves, just solo, and this seems like this would be a good chance to do that. We don't really see them released by themselves anymore. It feels like rare Candelabra would be the highlight behind this thing. The first rare Quint deserves to be highlighted upon. When Candelabra came along at first, it didn't feel like he got the recognition it deserved as being the first Quint, so let's reconcile on that now with the first rare Quint fire that is going to be coming. With this one, let's therefore do what Candelabra should have done. Let's make it have exaggerated fire. This fire is so small, it's tiny. Let's make it bigger. And when I'm thinking about Candelabra, I always go back to them prismatic designs and tying it back to that concept. I love that concept art, and I think tying it back once more again, so that would be really cool. Now, obviously, we've had the seashell design. However, we do have 2 alternate designs here, which I think would be cool to tie reference to. We have the bob haircut one, which would be a big meme to throw back to, not necessarily the one which we want in order to signify the Quint's importance, potentially, but the Galvana styled one looks really cool, and Galvana is one of my favourite monsters, so I would be digging that if that came along. And besides as rares and as epics and whatever else, let's go into what else we can expect now, as we've got lots of variants out of the way there. Now, with SummerSong, we've been seeing with all the seasonal events, as they've been coming along, updated skins behind these things. They've been there for 10 years, and on the 10th anniversary of every single one, we've seen them get updated, the core seasonal event ones. So we've got a SummerSong skin update coming. Now, SummerSong to me is already a very different skin. If you're to ask me, out of all of the seasonal skins that we've had for all the core seasonal events before they were updated, this is the main one to me, which already looks really different. And therefore, I think this one has the potential to turn out really cool. And what would be really cool on this design is way back when they put on Earth Island in the SummerSong event, the burn the rope critters, just dancing out of nowhere to celebrate Pride. And I suspected this might be an update at the time, Little Kid MPG, and therefore I think tying back to these burn the rope critters and finally giving me a new critter, as you guys know I've been asking for that for a while, would be a really cool thing. And it's not something that I think would be necessarily hard to draw back upon. They already have the sprites drawn up for the burn the rope critters, and it'd be a cool callback. And obviously too, on this SummerSong skin, we're going to be seeing all the decorations sprouting off from it, as they've been using all the decorations as background decor for every single one. So that's going to continue with this one. And later on inside of the event, not necessarily inside of SummerSong, we're also going to be seen as Water Island Colossal. So I do want to touch upon that a little bit, as Water Island Colossal is going to be coming on July the 22nd, so write that date down in your calendars, guys. And the Cold Island one particularly started off with doing elemental themes, and I think that's going to continue therefore with this water one. We had the air mist particles inside of the air Colossal's eye, therefore I think with the water one we're probably going to see that continue. We've seen on the puzzle pieces so far, what we got up to now, that is making out to be a purple colour, which is quite interesting. We've got some speckles, which likely is going to resemble water, and I'm wondering how this is going to tie back to that water element like we've been seeing. And the idea that I have is that the iris could end up being a teardrop. I think that would be really cool, but if we're talking about the sound behind this thing and not the design, then I absolutely think that it should go at the ending of Water Island song. The Water Island ending, it feels like a more eased sound before that ending verse could do the song real justice and change up the kind of colossal sounds that we've been seeing. We've seen seen them building up that tension. However, this time lowering that tension on Water Island would be an interesting thing to see and unique, because I don't think he's going to have a chance to do that, as the songs don't necessarily de-escalate like Water Island's song does. I could see it before the Wordo duet if it really does want to build up that tension, but I feel like de-escalating Water Island's song is the way to go for this one. And we've had distortion, we've had the mechanical whirring on Air Island, and we've had the blizzard likeness on Cold Island. And for Water Island, I want to see an underwater mashup here. Underwater distortion on this thing. They really amp up the effects on these and make them sound so ominous and so cool to just signify how they are the creators of the monster world. We love that so dearly. And therefore, having that tie also into the more low-key vibe of the outro just before it would be an absolutely amazing addition. That effect, I feel like, would help de-escalate the song. And also, yet tie again the water theme, which would be really cool. Inside of the promotion that said that SummerSong is going to be coming next week, we also got a reveal towards a costume in the background here. Fumble is doing the signature pose here, staring at this new costume in the background. We've had quite a few costumes here lately, so not really much of a surprise here, but the fact that Clamble is the one who's looking at this makes me think that this costume is Clamble. For Stromboning back in the Festival of Yay, and lots of promotions now, we've seen these monsters whose costume they are just looking directly at them, so therefore I have no reason to believe that this ain't. Now, there's barely anything visible here, and they've done it no justice by making it a plain black colour. So your guess is as good as mine towards what this could be, but it looks like something with a hat. So potentially Clamble's symbol will be the thing that's changing here. So from this lovely teaser, and also the fact that every single core seasonal event that we've been seeing up to now, since the Festival of Yay has been having lots of new costumes, we're going to be seeing some SummerSong costumes this year. I'd lay my bets on seeing 3 to 5 costumes maybe, and I'd expect lots of rares and potentially maybe some epic ones, seeing as though the rares particularly have been getting quite a few costumes inside of these events recently. As for when these are releasing though, we've been through quite a lot here, so let's recap here. So we got the SummerSong skin, which is going to be releasing this Wednesday, alongside as rare or epic fire, most likely rare Candelabra, and then we've also got as rare Wublin, which is going to release because it's the beginning of the month, and they've teased the thing, they know what they're doing, which is going to be rare Astropod. And then for rare Carillong, this is where it gets a bit iffy. Rare Carillong could either be this Wednesday or the Wednesday after, or even the Wednesday after that. So we'll have to see for rare Carillong, but potentially a Wednesday release sounds pretty good, seeing as though we got everything coming then. But we also know there is no My Singing Monsters Live this month, and they probably do want to spread this out a bit. We do have the World of Colossal coming on July the 22nd, but still having something a bit later on like rare Carillong would be quite nice. If you guys enjoyed this and my SummerSong theories, make sure to click on this on screen right now. I will see you guys later though for now. Bye guys.